Imagine this. The year is 1983. The Cold War isn't just about nukes and nations, it's about minds, consciousness, and who controls them. Behind closed doors, while the world feared missiles, the real arms race was happening in silence. A war for the structure of reality itself. And then it happened. The US military, obsessed with an edge that couldn't be intercepted, commissioned a report unlike anything else in history. A document so bizarre, it read like science fiction, but it wasn't fiction. A lieutenant colonel, a classified experiment, and a revelation that shattered the rules of time and space. The Gateway Process, a real US Army-backed investigation into out-of-body experiences, astral travel, quantum consciousness, not from a mystic on a mountain, but from the Monroe Institute, a research center that still exists today, still offering gateway training, and it's gone far beyond the original documents. The Gateway files didn't just hint at altered states, they proved that with sound, frequency, and focus, the human mind can leave the body, transcend time, and interact with the universe itself. Not symbolically, literally. And just when you thought this couldn't get more real, in 2022, the Nobel Prize in Physics would confirm it. Quantum entanglement is real. Local realism shattered. Particles are connected across space, just like the Gateway report claimed decades earlier. This is the story they buried, the document they released without a press conference, a quiet upload to the CIA's website, hoping you'd never look, but you're looking now. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This isn't just a report, it's a blueprint for unlocking the God force within your own mind. This is not a video, this is a decoding of your reality. Welcome to the Gateway. It's 1983. The Cold War isn't just a battle of nukes and spies, it's a metaphysical war. The United States and the Soviet Union weren't only trying to outgun each other, they were trying to outthink reality itself. And buried in this battle was a document that shook the foundations of physics and consciousness alike. Analysis and assessment of the Gateway Process. Written by Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonnell, this wasn't New Age fluff. It was a government-commissioned evaluation of a radical program by the Monroe Institute. His conclusion? The human mind, when properly trained, could leave the body, transcend time, and manipulate the holographic universe we call reality. This wasn't imagination. This was military-sanctioned metaphysics. At the core of the Gateway Process is a phenomenon called hemispheric synchronization, or hemisync. You see, the brain is divided into two hemispheres. The left, which deals in logic, order, math. The right, which speaks in metaphor, emotion, intuition. Most people live with these hemispheres out of sync, competing like twin generals with no alliance. But when both sides of the brain begin to pulse in harmony, something extraordinary happens. A gateway opens. The Monroe Institute discovered this could be induced with binaural beats, two slightly different tones in each ear, creating a third phantom frequency. It's not just sound, it's a neurological tuning fork. And when that fork aligns your brainwaves, people don't just meditate, they leave their bodies. They see distant places, access repressed memories, even glimpse possible futures. And that's not all. By the early 1980s, the US military wasn't just theorizing about the power of consciousness, they were funding field operations based on it. Enter Project Stargate, a classified program run by the Defense Intelligence Agency and the CIA, tasked with investigating whether human perception could transcend space and spy. The assignment? Train remote viewers to psychically gather intelligence from hostile territories without ever leaving the room. These weren't random psychics or occult fanatics. They were former military officers, scientists, and engineers trained in the Gateway methodology. They were taught to enter altered states using hemisync frequencies, still their minds, and tune in to non-local data. And the results? Unnervingly accurate. One remote viewer described a Soviet nuclear research facility in Kazakhstan years before satellite photos confirmed it existed. Another described an underground Chinese weapons lab down to the configuration of its hallways. And perhaps most shockingly, a participant viewed the rings of Jupiter before NASA's Pioneer 10 confirmed their existence. He even sketched features unknown to astronomers at the time. These sessions were recorded, cataloged, and validated by cross-referencing satellite intelligence. This wasn't guesswork. It was intelligence collection using the untapped potential of consciousness. Now, pause and reflect. If the US military is investing millions into teaching the human mind to perceive targets thousands of miles away, if those experiments are repeatable, verifiable, and accurate, then we have to ask, what is consciousness actually capable of? Because if trained minds can reach across continents, then time and space are not barriers, they're illusions. And when illusions crack, control structures follow. Think of the implications. Intelligence gathering without drones, communication without satellites, surveillance without being seen, decision-making based not on guesswork, but on direct perception of probable futures. Remote viewing became more than a tool. It became proof that the mind isn't confined to flesh and neurons. It's a receiver, a transmitter, a force. But even more threatening to institutions, it meant ordinary people could learn it. Because if one human can view across time and space using mental focus, then so can you. And that's what terrified the establishment the most. Gateway was about transcendence, but in the shadows of defense strategy, something unexpected happened. The Gateway process began delivering spiritual results. Not only could consciousness move, it could create. That's when the CIA realized if people knew they could shape reality with intention, they couldn't be controlled. And so the report disappeared, quietly declassified in 2003. No announcement, just a digital whisper. You've been told your entire life that reality is solid, fixed, unchanging, that what you can touch, measure, and see is what's real. But what if that's the lie? What if this entire world, your job, your home, the stars above you, the body you inhabit, isn't reality, but rendered code? This wasn't spiritual metaphor. This was the core conclusion of the Gateway process, and it's now backed by some of the brightest physicists on the planet. Reality is a hologram. Let that sink in. We're not talking about lasers and sci-fi projections. We're talking about a mathematical hologram, a universe where each part contains the whole. In this kind of reality, time isn't linear, space isn't absolute, and cause and effect are negotiable. Everything you think is out there is actually being rendered in here by your consciousness. The Gateway document explicitly states time and space are constructs of the information processing activity of consciousness. In simpler terms, time and space don't exist unless your mind is tuned to generate them. Think about what that means. It means your memories of the past are just files in a mental simulation. It means the future isn't something you travel toward. It's something you select. It means reality is the canvas, and you are the brush. And this idea isn't just hiding in declassified documents. It's hiding in plain sight, in spiritual traditions, ancient mysticism, and now Nobel Prize winning physics. Remember Plato's cave? The idea that humans mistake shadows on the wall for truth? We're still in that cave, but instead of firelight, the shadows are projected by media, systems, and fear. The Gateway process wasn't just a study, it was the key to unlock the cave door and walk into the light of actual perception. But here's the kicker. If everything is a hologram, then every belief you hold about who you are, what's possible, and what's permanent becomes the software that drives the simulation, which means limitation is self-coded. Suffering is an echo of outdated programming. Scarcity is a loop. And fear, just the firewall that keeps you from editing the code. You're not stuck in this world. You're rendering it moment by moment. So now the question becomes, what version of the hologram are you unconsciously projecting? Because here's the truth. You were never supposed to be a spectator in this simulation. You were built to be a developer. And once you realize that, you'll never look at a mirror, a memory, or a moment the same way again. In 2022, 3 physicists won the Nobel Prize for proving something the Gateway process hinted at decades ago. Quantum entanglement is real. Local realism, the idea that particles have definite properties and aren't influenced by distant events, is gone. Reality, it turns out, is non-local, interconnected, consciousness dependent. And what influences that quantum field? You do. You've been taught to believe your thoughts are private, that they start and stop inside your head, that they're just noise, fleeting, meaningless. But what if that's another illusion? What if every thought you think is a transmission, a wave, a signal, a creative force that doesn't disappear? It echoes into the field that surrounds you. The gateway process didn't just reveal how consciousness perceives reality. It revealed something far more radical. Consciousness generates it. Your thoughts aren't passengers. They're pilots. They don't ride through reality. They steer it. This is where modern science meets ancient metaphysics. Quantum mechanics meets Hermetic law. The CIA's documents meet the teachings of mystics, sages, and prophets. As above, so below. As within, so without. These weren't just poetic sayings. They were field equations for the soul. Imagine the universe as a giant holographic field, like a mirror made of liquid light. Whatever you emit into it, emotionally and mentally, it reflects back into your life as form, people, outcomes, and events. If you send out shame, you experience rejection. If you radiate lack, your world answers with closed doors. If you carry guilt, life meets you with punishment. But if you begin to emit peace, the world responds with stillness. If you dwell in gratitude, the field rearranges itself to match that frequency. If you embody certainty, doors open that logic can't explain. This is not positive thinking. This is quantum command. The mind is not a camera, it's a projector. An identity? That's the film it runs. If you carry the belief, I'm not enough, then your life will become the stage for that story to play out. But shift that belief to I am powerful, and reality bends in a new direction, like light curving around gravity. Because here's the secret. Your identity isn't fixed. It's a frequency. You can tune into the version of you who already has the life you want. Not one day, not when things improve, but now, by embodying the mindset, emotion, and energy of that version. That's what the gateway process was really teaching. You don't have to wait for reality to change. You have to become the version of you who would already live in that new reality. And that identity shift, done with intention and clarity, creates what mystics call the quantum leap. It's not magic, it's not delusion, it's physics, it's pattern recognition, it's resonance. Because in a holographic universe, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. So the question isn't, what do I need to do to change my life? The real question is, who must I become to match the life that's already waiting for me in the field? That version of you already exists. It's already coded into the hologram. You don't have to create it from scratch. You just have to align with it. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't just chase success. Don't beg the universe. Don't visualize passively. Broadcast deliberately, because reality is not pushing back against you. It's waiting for your next command. The truth is, your mind is the projector. Your attention is the script. Your emotion is the electricity. And your belief is the director. You're not a character in the story. You're the author. The gateway isn't just a process. It's a remembrance of who you really are and what you were always meant to do. Welcome to the gateway. Your reality is yours to command.